Hey folks, Wade the Shoe Dog here. I'm recording this video on April 2nd, 2025. So if something changes in the next hours, weeks, minutes, days, months, then you know at least where we're coming from today. Okay, so obviously a whole bunch of new tariffs came down. You can see behind me here, we have this wonderful display of all the new tariffs that have come down. And 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 I just want to stop and say, listen, whenever somebody tells you that the tariff is paid by the country that's exporting the shoes, they are lying to you. Who pays for these import tariffs? The companies that import the shoes, whether it's Nike or Adidas or Nike, whoever's buying the shoes from the foreign country, they pay the tariff. And that tariff is charged to you. Okay, so when everyone says we're going to bring trillions of dollars in, it's at your expense. You are going to be paying for this. So expect the cost of all of your footwear and clothing and electronics is all going up. Every single bit of it. Okay? I'm going to do another video on American shoemaking, and we've been looking at shoemaking in Mexico. Well, that's not really going to help either, right? Because Mexico is getting slapped with some tariff too. So the real big whopper here, actually, and I want you to look at this chart behind me, is this one right here. And let me see if I can get a box around it here. Is right here, is Vietnam. And why do I say this is a big deal? Well, Vietnam is a major shoe producing country, uh, and had been relatively free from any of these penalties, right? I mean, your normal import duty, of course, but a lot of American brands moved their production to Vietnam over the past half dozen years. And also, there's business down in Indonesia also. And you can see if we just scroll down the list a little bit here to Indonesia, where I just saw it on this page here. Oh, here it is down here, 32. So I actually had just finished writing an article called "You Can Run But You Can't Hide." How do we address current footwear tariff situation? So, and what prompted me to write that article, and this was a couple days ago, was one of my clients is sourcing shoes in Brazil. They have a double sourcing operation. They get some from China and some from Brazil. Great, be diversified. And their Brazilian vendor raised the price on them, right? Like 25%, which is a lot. It's a huge hit. And their first response was, well, we got to go find some other place to make the shoes because we don't want to accept this 25% hit out of nowhere. And I sat with these folks and explained that when we start penalizing countries like China or Indonesia or wherever, the non-penalized countries are going to take advantage of that situation. So, for example, the folks in Vietnam, great people, right? They make good shoes, have been watching the situation in China, just going, "Hoo, wonderful," right? But now it's their turn. So all the brands that moved that business to Vietnam, thinking that they were going to escape, it's even worse now because China's 34 and Vietnam's 46. But also, in looking at these charts too, because the situation changes by the minute, by the hour, by the day, by the week, it's hard to know really how it all adds up. Is it cumulative, right? Or is it added and on extra penalty upon penalty or penalty? Who knows? And of course, on this China here, on this table here, Mexico and Canada are not listed. So, but they've also been slapped with maybe 25. So it's really hard to know. So, I mean, hey, folks, it's impossible to plan your business in this kind of situation. Am I right? So, but listen, and part of the reason I want to make this video is to we as shoemakers have to go back to the fundamentals, right? And it doesn't matter where you're making your shoes. When I say the fundamentals, meaning accurate cost calculation and then diligent cost engineering, and these are two different things, right? So if you go over to the website, and I'll just drag this on the screen here, you see our courses. There's two courses down here. One is called How to Calculate Footwear Costs, right here, and the other one is Footwear Cost Engineering. And you say, wait, what's the difference between footwear costing and cost engineering? These are two very different techniques and skills. So costing just is how the costing sheet is created, so that you could look at a costing sheet and know that they've done it correctly, yield and loss, and what are the contributing factors, right? So that's what that is about. Cost engineering is, say you've come into a program after the fact, or you go into work tomorrow and your boss says, "Hey man, we just got clubbed with this extra tariff. What are we gonna do about it?" And of course, your answer is, well, we're going to raise the price for our customers, right? Because we can do that instantly, and also now we're gonna re-engineer the shoes, and we're gonna take value out of the shoes. So that's the bummer part. And I don't know if you remember during COVID where, I don't know, I remember there was a story about the company that made black pepper in those little cans were basically shipping the same size can but half as much pepper in it, and people got all angry. So what's going to happen in footwear is that the specifications are gonna drop, right? Because nobody's gonna want to pay $250 for a running shoe that costs 150, right? That's crazy. So what's going to end up happening is the specification of these shoes is going to have to simplify, or efficiency, whatever you want to call it, right? So refreshing cost calculation is going to be important, really, to make sure that you're getting every penny, every value. I mean, because our goal as shoemakers is to, of course, make amazing shoes that perform well, but we want to deliver value to our customers. That's the whole point, right? If you can charge less and deliver more, that's what this is about, right? So having accurate cost calculation is part of that, and then to the other side of that is when you look at a shoe that's existing, what can you do to make sure you're getting it at the best price possible, right? Is it dual sourcing in another factory or another country to compete against each other? Is it looking at different material, midsole combinations? Now, so that's inside the specification of the shoe. Now, the other thing that's critically important is the duty rate. Now, I know this whole thing is about duty rates, right? But these are like uh, duty, penalized tariff, right? Now, the U.S. government has different duty rates for shoes based on their material makeup. And depending on the type of shoe it is, it could be 6%, it could be 9%, it could be 20%, or 27.5 plus 90 cents. So there's lots of different duty categories that these shoes fall into. And as a designer, my past, I've worked for companies that made like kind of value conscious shoes, and other shoes that didn't matter, like whatever, make it awesome. It didn't matter. But now we all have to think about delivering value. So there are certain tariff categories or classifications that we can use to reduce the import duty on our shoe. Now, of course, this chart of sort of reciprocal tariff business, that has nothing to do with it. This is trade war time. This right here, where we're talking about import duty rules and regulations, is about how you design a shoe to fall into the existing duty structure. Because yes, that point says China 34. That's on top of the original duty rate of the product, right? So it's critically important for you to optimize your duty rate. Because, yeah, of course, all these import duties are going to hurt. They're going to raise the price for our customers. They're going to cause us to deliver less value. That's a fact of it. Um, Cost engineering will get you so far, but part of cost engineering is being duty efficient and making sure that you're in the right classification to try to save yourself some money. And that's more important than ever now, considering that we're going to have all this extra tariff piled on. Um, and in this course, we talk about how to do classification, what the different rates for those classification categories are, and then how to go about engineering your shoe to fit into those lower classifications. So again, like, I know this is, people are freaking out, right? Where can we go to escape these tariffs? And of course, we're trying to make money, but we're also trying to deliver value to our customers. So it's a trick, man. It's gonna be hard. And listen, here's the other point. And I've been getting calls. Again, we're gonna talk about USA manufacturing um, in a little bit in another video, but just understand that this type of product is not going to be made in the United States. It's not. We're going to be making cars and houses. Americans are not going to be making shoes. Okay, that's just the fact of it. Okay, um, sorry, I don't want to rain on your parade, but that's the fact of it. We're going to be doing, high value computers, movies, houses, cars. Americans will not be making shoes. We're just going to end up having to pay more for it. That's the fact of it. Okay, so just to review, we're not as a brand right now. There's no escaping these tariffs. It doesn't matter what country you're at, right? Though I see Brazil is 10, cool. Philippines 17. Um, you know, Turkey is a shoemaking country. Well, there's something there. So there are places, but again, these are not making the high end athletic shoes that we all really enjoy and love. So prices are going up all the way around. Again, back to the basics: cost calculation, cost engineering, and duty efficiency. And hey, folks, if you enjoyed this, I know it's not very fun. If you enjoyed this, then like and subscribe. And if you find yourself in a real pickle, and you're really gonna have a hard time delivering your shoes to your customers, then please give me a call. You can email me at theshoedog@shoemakersacademy.com, and we'll do our best to try to help you. I'm consulting with several clients about these cases. My existing clients are in this sticky situation. We do have relationships with some factories outside of these majorly penalized countries at the moment. It's kind of a first come first serve if you can get into these low tariff countries. Um, but that's it, folks. And hey, like I said, I hope we can have better news, because again, we're just trying to make shoes and deliver cool product to people at a decent price. So none of this helps, but we're going to do our best. Oh, and remember, please go to the FDRA. They are our trade organization. They're looking out for us. Those poor guys probably not sleeping at all, trying to help figure this out for us. But that's what we got, folks. See you next time.